So in the now when we move on to the JavaScript code, writing of the JavaScript code, first we need to understand about the variables. In any programming language, the first one is the variables thing. Let's see. In JavaScript, the variables always is indicated with a var. Okay, where x is equal to hello world. So now I have mentioned this one as x. So now here we are having a x. Okay, or otherwise you can also mention it as greeting or something like this. So this is a variable name, and this variable name so must be initialized with a variable. So okay, this is the identifier, and here we have initialized with a hello world. Now we don't have any other programming languages like int or otherwise string. Okay, like this we don't have anything. So just we'll mention it as an var. Now if I want to mention it as an integer, I can mention it as a number also, value also. Let's try to console this one. So if I try to console this one, if I try to see here, I am able to see where is this hello world came. I have mentioned in HTML or what? Okay. Let's try to remove this one. Clear it. Now I am able to see the output as 5. It's correct. So now I have declared a variable and I am using this variable. I am using this type. So now what is the data type of this variable? Let's try to see. So the data type of a variable can be used using the type of. It will tell you the data type of this variable. And now if you try to see the data type of this variable, the data type of this variable is number. Okay, so this is the first one which we want to learn about the data types. We have learned about one of the data type, that is nothing but number. So let's try to write it. The data types, we are learning about the JavaScript data types. So we have first learned first data type, that is nothing but a data type number. Okay, so this is the first number. So this is the first data type, number. So now let's try to mention. So we have used this var thing, right? Now I will try to mention this one as hello world. Now I am mentioning this one as a string. Okay, string or text. Some text I am giving. Now let's try to see the output and try to see the data type of this one. If I try to see the data type of this one is a string. So that means any data which is having a string data means it's a string. So now we have learned another one, that is nothing but a string. Okay, string data type. And we have another type of things, these are reserved keywords, nothing but true. Okay, so we can also mention it as in true or false. So true or false means it is either true or false. So this one, if you try to see the data type of this one is a Boolean. So Boolean means it will be two values only, either true or false. So this is one data type. So we have seen another data type. Now these are the main things. These are the three main things which you will be having. For example, let's say that I am having a string 7.5 floating point number, double number, and I will try to check the data type of this one. So here if I try to run this one, then also I am able to get a number. So that means in the JavaScript we don't have any floating point numbers. So floating point data types is not supported in the JavaScript. So the JavaScript supports only the number only. So whatever the value you may mention it here. So 11.5 or 100.5, anything you mention it here, or minus 10 also if you mention it. So it is a number only. If I try to execute this one, it is a number only. So this is one thing. So this is number. So number is the main thing. So whatever the number you are mentioning here, this is the number data type. And another one is a string data type. String data type means you mention it either as a character or anything also, then it is a string only. And here if you mention something, then also it will be string only. And if you try to mention true or false, we have seen that one is Boolean. So one thing we have understood, these are the basic general data types which are supported in the JavaScript. And we don't have any declarations here. We cannot mention this one as int or anything like that. We cannot mention it here. And now what I want to tell you is another one. I have declared a variable here x, and I am not initializing any data into this one. Is equal to nothing. I am initializing nothing here. So I am not telling is equal to something like this. I am not telling anything. Just I have declared a variable, not initialized with any value. I will try to do console.log of x, and I will see what is the value of this console data type of this console.log. Why? Because this x value is a dynamic, so it is not a strongly programming language. Why? Because I will try to tell you about that one also. So here I have not initialized any value with this one. Depending on the value what it is having, the x, it is able to tell the data type of this one. Now this x doesn't have any value. Then what is the data type of this x? Let's try to see it. If I try to run this one, now we are able to get that x is an undefined. Fine. So I haven't defined anything with a value. There is an undefined. But the data type of this one is also an undefined. So that means undefined is also one of the data type. You can assume. So undefined is also one of the data type. So then what I need to do? So now here it is getting an undefined. So normally in JavaScript, when you are trying to get undefined or any somewhere means it's something like an error thing only. Okay. As undefined is a, what I can say is it's a one of the data type. So you are trying to use that variable in your code, which is not defined. So that means that results to an error only. For example, here you have declared the variable. And here somewhere you are trying to do something like console.log x plus 2. I am trying to do here. So that means you are thinking that x has some value and you are doing arithmetic calculations with that x. So this results to an undefined only. So this results to an nan is a different thing. We'll see it. So now this results to an undefined. This results to an error. So that means x is nothing but an undefined is one type of error. So now what I need to do then, for example, I don't know what is the type of data I want to assign to this x variable. So then what I need to do is, so you can do using equal to null. Okay, you can define it with a null. So that means I don't know what is the value I will be going to assign. In the future I will assign it. So in order to not get the errors and all those things, I can assign it with a null. Now let's try to see console.log of x. Okay, and let's see that console.log type of x. We'll try to see it. And if I try to run this one, so we are able to get it this null, and the data type of this one is an object. We are able to see it, right? The data type of this one is object. Okay, we are able to see this one as object, right? So this is an object.